Good evening to you all from Spain, and welcome to El Madrigal here in Villareal. It's the UEFA Champions League on ESPN, the third qualifying round, second leg matchup between Villareal and Everton for you this evening. Adrian Healy joined by Tommy Smith for commentary. And Tommy, well, the Everton might be known as the Toffees. They've got themselves in a bit of a sticky situation here after the first leg.
Yeah, they certainly have, and the fact that they couldn't take care of business at home really puts the pressure on them, and Diego Forlan and company would like to make sure that they get them out of here as we have a check on some of the other results, Adrian.
Yes, this is the games in progress today. 8 games. This is the final opportunity for these teams to get into the group stages of the Champions League. Comfortable leads for Manchester United. 2-0 adding today a 3-0 first leg win against Everton from Hungary. Rangers also protecting a lead successfully at the moment. Werder Bremen struggling against Basel, but Inter Milan 1, Shakhtar Donetsk 1 is a half-time score. So all still in the melting pot, it appears, in terms of which 8 teams will complete the 32 in the Champions League draw for the group stages, Tommy.
Well, we had a couple of surprises yesterday. We had Artmedi and we had Toon, so who knows, there might be a few more surprises here, but certainly in this one, Villareal did the business here and knew exactly what they had to do, and they took a huge step. Figueroa is the man who put the first one away, and when the ball broke down nicely, then this one's just toe poked in. That might be the saving grace for Everton, but I don't know. I think it might take more than that, Adrian.
Well, it was the Yellow Submarine who sailed away with the lead in the first leg. Can they complete the job tonight? We'll be right back to find out. Welcome back to El Madrigal here in Villareal. It's the UEFA Champions League on ESPN, and in many ways the marquee matchup of this third round qualifying. 2 teams who did very well in their respective leagues last season. Villareal finishing 3rd in La Liga, Everton 4th in the Premiership, and both looking to battle their way through to the group stages of the Champions League for the first time. Villareal with the 2-1 advantage, and this will be their team, Tom.
Yeah, they're going to go with Vente, Alvarez, Rodriguez and Ruben at the back. Senna, Hoseko, Sorin and Riquelme across midfield. And that means the FNF will be up front. Figueroa will be trying to play off Forlan. They played very well together the last day. And that's a very lethal partnership, Adrian.
Yes, Manuel Pellegrini has really stamped his mark all over this team. South American influences. David Moyes, well, much more of a homegrown look to his team, and bad news for James Beattie. His toe injury keeps him out of this second leg.
It's going to be Philip Neville, Hibbett, Yobo and Kilben, and it's going to be Davis, Arteta, Weir and Cahill across midfield, and that means that Bent and Ferguson will be expected to do the business up front, asking a lot from them.
Duncan Ferguson, 34 years old, is the sole survivor of Everton's last foray into Europe. That was 10 years ago in the Cup Winners' Cup. Marcus Bent was on the score sheet this past Saturday, where Luigi Collina is our referee tonight, just exchanging pleasantries with Diego Forlan. Luigi Collina, who was thought to be on his way out.
I was wondering, I thought he retired. I mean, there's no end to this man's talent.
He's taking a leaf out of your book, Tommy. It just goes on and on.
And on, and it's like the Energizer battery, you know.
So it'll be Everton in the blue shirts. Kicking from left to right. David Moyes under no illusions about the task that faced his team. 2-1 down from that first leg. It's surely got to be an all-guns blazing approach tonight from the Toffees if they have any hope of progressing. They need 2 goals. That is their minimum target. The question is, can they keep out this very potent Villareal team who really showed what they could do to great effect in that first leg, Tommy?
Clinical finishing by Villareal in that first leg, and they got the opportunities to put them away. Everton acquitted themselves fairly well. I thought it was just they got a bad result, and now they're really up against it. This is asking a lot of them to come here. They got to win, as you said, at least 2-1 to get themselves into an extra time scenario.
In many ways, a clash of styles, a clash of cultures, the full-blooded approach of the English team against the more cultured passing ability of the Spanish surprise side Villareal, as you look at Lucho Figueroa in your picture. Figueroa, who scored that superb opening goal at Goodison Park a fortnight ago, and that will be the man he's trying to beat again, Nigel Martin. 39 years old, Nigel Martin, being talked about in potential recall to England terms now, Tommy.
Well, with Calamity James being Calamity James as usual, hey, why not? I mean, it's certainly, he's worth a look, that's for sure.
Tim Cahill and Mikel Arteta will be operating together in the midfield for David Moyes' team. Duncan Ferguson, so many hopes resting on his rather broad shoulders tonight. He's been more used to a role off the bench in more recent times at Goodison Park.
Kalina talking to him, he figured he was backing in on top of Rodriguez.
Well, that's something the Everton players will have to adjust to. Lots of talk of that before the game, how the officiating would be rather different in Europe to what they're used to in the Premiership. Ferguson finding that out early on. This is Hibbert playing a ball down the line, looking for Marcus Bent, who, as I mentioned, did score at the weekend. It was a morale-boosting win for Everton. They won 1-0 away against Bolton Wanderers, and the Reebok Stadium is not an easy place to go and get the results. It was just the tonic that David Moyes' troops needed heading into this encounter. This is Bent again. Has space to measure his cross. It was behind Ferguson, and Gonzalo Rodriguez, a vital touch away for Villareal as Everton start in positive fashion here. Kilban is dispossessed, and Senna was chopped down for his troubles. Kalina waving play on as Forlan picks up the pieces.
I think there'll be a card coming even here, though he did play advantage. Yeah.
And it didn't take long for the first booking of the evening. It's Kevin Kilban, the Irish left winger, who goes into the book. It was a challenge on Javi Venter that earned him that yellow.
Kilban caused his own problems. He went up the field, give the ball away, and coming back, there's just no excuse. That was a reckless challenge by Kilban.
Well, Javi Venter is a dangerous prospect coming forth in the back. The 29-year-old who took over from Belletti in that role. The Brazilian who moved to Barcelona last summer and had such a great year at the Nou Camp. Javi Venter has made that position his own.
That was a very, very dangerous tackle by Kilban. Not a player that's, you know, that's not really part of his game. You don't generally see that side of Kilban.
Well, it was always going to be an intriguing contest between these two as soon as they were paired together. Both of them would have asked for perhaps slightly easier paths into the group stages.
Well, to be honest, the two of them were unlucky, weren't they? I mean, especially when you see some of the results that have transpired.
Arteta's ball will find Ferguson. He's been driven wide, but will hold up and wait for support here. Duncan Ferguson eventually ran out of real estate in which to operate. Javi Venter looking to re-enter the fray.
Well, when he got pushed as wide as he did, it was always going to be a problem for him. I'm talking about Ferguson, of course.
So it's a 4-4-2 alignment for David Moyes. He only went with the one striker in the home leg, James Beattie. Beattie scored, but was injured 4 days following on from that loss in the home defeat against Manchester United.
It begs the question, doesn't it? I mean, you bring it up very well. You say two strikers here, one striker at home. I mean, don't you go for it when you're at home rather than being pushed into a position to go for it on the road? I mean, I think you're much better suited with going two men that can stick the ball in the back of the net if you're at home and take your chances. And obviously, Moyes didn't feel that way, but I think they paid the price for it.
Well, if there's one thing that Villareal are not accustomed to doing, it's conceding goals at home. A wonderful record here at El Madrigal, both domestically and in Europe. But it's a chance to join the big dance that they're looking for. David Moyes showing he hasn't lost any of his skill as a player. Perhaps not as fast as he once was.
Well, none of us are.
Some of us never were.
I heard you were deceptive in your speed. You were even slower than you looked.
I don't know who told you that, but they were right. This is Josico and Riquelme trying to combine, but it was Arteta back in his homeland for the first time in an Everton shirt, picking up the pieces. Tim Cahill, as always, will be a pivotal figure tonight. Kilban prodding it in towards Ferguson. But again, easy to mop up at the back for the home side. Mariano Barbosa, the young Argentinian goalkeeper, just 21 years old, brought in to replace Jose Reina, who moved on to Liverpool. Cahill and Arteta looking lively early, seeing a lot of the ball. The ball played into the right sort of area of the field. Simon Davis, you would expect to be patrolling that area of the field, but he was found absent on that occasion.
Well, if there's one man that can cause problems here, it should be Arteta. I mean, he understands the way Villareal plays. He understands what it takes to put this team a little bit off balance. And to me, he's the key factor tonight, coming through from midfield.
Javi Venta. Short to Josico. And the Brazilian Senna, who had a wonderful game at Goodison Park, set up the opening goal for Figueroa with an inch-perfect pass. This is Senna again. Sorin. Cahill just got a touch in there to dispossess him. Phil Neville playing at left back tonight for David Moyes. He played in midfield 2 weeks ago. The flick on from Ferguson, and again the whistle going against Ferguson. And you can see the look of disbelief on the big Scotsman's face.
He kind of figures at this stage that the referee is picking him a little bit, but you could clearly see that he had a hand in the back. You just won't get away with that with Kalina.
It's always indicative of the way the game is played slightly differently. Different countries around Europe, referees react differently as well. You have to be aware of that. Sorin picking the ball up in the middle of the park for Villareal. Tony Hibbett with the clearance to Davis. Marcus Bent struggling to really impose himself on the proceedings. And that's Joseph Yobo. I do apologise for the problems we're having with the picture quality at the moment. We have an army of technicians working to restore your viewing pleasure, I assure you. I don't think there's any lack of atmosphere being conveyed tonight. The El Madrigal Stadium, as always, packed to the rafters. Holds about 26,000, this small stadium, right in the centre of what is a fairly small city by Spanish standards.
This sets up a good opportunity for Everton, and if ever Everton needed a boost, they need a goal. A goal would be just exactly what they want. Of course, Villareal, that's the one thing they don't want to do, is they don't want to give up a goal. But this sets up beautifully for Everton.
That's their first set-piece opportunity here. Marcus Bent will be looking on with some interest as the Spaniard Mikel Arteta, with a whole line of players to aim for just at the edge of the area, but in the end it was Figueroa back helping out his defence.
Come on, you've got to be fit to do better than that in a situation like that if you're an Everton player. I mean, you get yourself a chance 10 minutes into the game, perfect setup, and you let the first man on the line for Villareal take it away. I mean, it's good defending, but not a very well taken free kick.
Everton enjoying perhaps the lion's share of possession early on here. Haven't really created a meaningful excursion into the penalty area yet, but that's what Yobo is trying to set up here. He brings Phil Neville, or rather Kevin Kilban, into the play.
Well, Villareal would love Everton to keep playing the ball around out here. There's no problems for them. They're sitting on a 2-1 lead, 2 away goals.
Senna's ball long, Figueroa flicking it back for Juan Pablo Sorin. The much travelled Argentinian has found a home here on the east coast of Spain, as have so many South American players. Senna, one of them on the ball. It's a long way out. And the shot well wide of Nigel Martin's goal in the end.
Well, the idea is to keep the ball down at this end of the field, and Senna set himself up. He had a lot of time on the ball. Everton need to be very, very careful, because he's a man who's capable of ripping one on the net.
Everton last appeared in the old European Cup, as it was known, some 34 years ago. If they are to make further progress, they need at least 2 goals tonight here in El Madrigal. Interesting to hear David Moyes talking before the game, Tommy. In a way, it Doesn't alter their game plan. Even if Villareal get the first goal here, they still need 2. Doesn't change anything. Lucho is the name on his back, but Figueroa was the name on the score sheet at Goodison Park. And Venta still visibly wincing after that early challenge from Kevin Kilban. This is Neville now for Everton. So much European experience under his belt. Now Senna, who won a World Club Championship with Corinthians in Brazil. The run from Forlan. Nigel Martin using all his 39 years of experience out to meet it, and he needed to be there.
Yeah, and Forlan still got a touch on it, even though Nigel Martin came out to it, and Forlan knocked it away. Nigel Martin, lucky there was nobody trailing. He was fit to cover it up himself, but good move out of goal by Nigel Martin. But what a beautiful ball. Look at this. Look at the timing on it. You've got to defend Forlan better than that. There's the touch on the ball. He actually hit it with his shoulder. A tremendous ball. It looks like Villareal need a substitute. It looks like Venta's in trouble here. Yeah, Javi Venta clearly signalling to the bench for a replacement. And they actually just sold Armando Sarr, who also performs in that position. They let him go to Espanyol last week. I wonder what the natural cover is in that position. Everton rather wasting the free kick. That was a terrible attempt by Kevin Kilban to get to the ball. Villareal are looking to make the substitute. Well, they have actually Jan Kromkamp, who is a new signing for them, the Dutch player, whose natural position is at right back. Ferguson's flick on towards Bent. Kike Alvarez, the Villareal captain, was there, and then Juan Pablo Sorin fouled by Davis. Indeed, it is going to be Kromkamp, a 24-year-old Dutchman who Pellegrini will now give his Villareal debut to. Sometimes fans ask why you buy a player. Look at this. I mean, he couldn't have been bought for a better reason than to step in here. Venta, unfortunately for Villareal and for Venta, very disappointing, especially with the La Liga season going to start this weekend. So Javi Venta makes way for Jan Kromkamp, who was actually part of the AZ Alkmaar team who knocked Villareal out of the UEFA Cup last season. Presumably impressed Manuel Luis Pellegrini so much that he decided to buy him. This the last game of the evening in Europe to kick off. So, in a way, the last place in the hat for the Champions League group draw is at stake here, as Everton try and rescue their cause. Simon Davis, well, he was claiming a handball as his cross flicked off of Varu Barena. Well, if I put in such a bad cross, I'd be claiming a handball too, or something like that. That just wasn't very well executed. And Everton are creating all of their own problems here. They're giving the ball away. I mean, Kilban has made a few runs down that left wing, very, very questionable. Tim Cahill recently recommitted himself to Everton for a further 4 years. Such a revelation in the Premiership last season, Cahill, following his arrival from Millwall. There's lots of hustle and bustle from Everton, as we saw in the first leg, but with similar amounts of end product so far. Marcus Bent trying to change that. We'll see how well he's covered. I mean, if you look around, there are 3 Villareal players who close them down right away. If Everton are going to beat that trap, they got to pull them out. They got to run at them from midfield instead of dropping the ball in there, allowing Villareal to just sit back and scoop it out of there. They're playing right into Villareal's strong suit.
So a long throw opportunity perhaps for Duncan Ferguson to feed upon here. It is Ferguson the target. He got the head in, and the save was needed from Mariano Barbosa as Cahill arrived. He kept his header low, but Barbosa with the parry.
Oh, he probably should have put this away. He's one-on-one with the keeper, and the keeper makes a good save. Cahill's trying to head it down and away from him, gets a good header onto it, and that should have been number one. That should have been the one to pull back. Good effort by everybody involved, but good save by the keeper.
And Everton really buoyed perhaps by that first opportunity that's come their way. Tim Cahill, as you say, Tommy, might have done better with it. It was a free header. He kept it low, but a bit too close.
Yeah, I think he just rushed himself a little bit.
David Moyes is encouraged by what he's seen. And certainly more of the ball in the Villareal half so far. Until Riquelme with a trademark twist and turn, and he releases Kromkamp on the overlap. Sorin is not going to reach his ball though.
That was an intentional, well, I suppose it wasn't an intentional back pass, but it certainly was a back pass from his own teammate that the keeper picked up there. I guess it would have been harsh to say it was an intentional pass back, but hey, there are referees who would call it because the defender just played the ball back to the keeper.
So Everton giving early indications here that they are certainly not going to let Villareal have things all their own way this evening. And huge underdogs according to the bookmakers heading into tonight. And there is space to exploit if he can keep the ball in, but he can't. A chase in vain for Jan Kromkamp. There's Josico, who scored with an absolute bullet of a header at Goodison Park. And that from a man who didn't score at all last season.
Well, the other team from Liverpool were made to work hard yesterday. And if Cahill had put that one away, it'd be a different story here too, wouldn't it, for Everton? That's what this game's all about. You get your chances, you got to bury them.
David Moyes was preaching a combination of patience and adventurous attacking play. He was quick to point out that it didn't matter too much if Everton did concede. He was more concerned about them managing to breach this Villareal defence twice. Riquelme. Neville quick to close him down.
I mean, obviously, if they win 2-0 to go through, but
2-1 would take it to extra time. Figueroa. Clever footwork from him, but the loose ball picked up by Simon Davis. It's a great piece of play by Davis, and he's got it back courtesy of Marcus Bent. This is Davis. Bent trying to make himself available. It's very tidily mopped up at the back.
Villareal just not getting caught out. They had enough of players back, even though it was a pretty quick counter-attack for Everton. I think if Everton are going to be successful, Adrian, at some point somebody's got to start shooting for them.
Sorin with space to exploit here. Juan Pablo Sorin, the deflection and the goal. "20 minutes in, and Villareal have taken a huge step towards the group stages of the Champions League. Juan Pablo Sorin. The shot was deflected past a despairing Nigel Martin, but Villareal have the lead.
Cruel fate on Everton. But like I said, you get the chances, you got to put them away. Sorin's not closed down. He decides to take the shot, takes a wicked deflection. Martin gets a boot onto it, but can't keep it out of the net. Watch this as Sorin goes forward. Here's the shot coming, and he just turned it inside. Terrible, terrible bad luck. David Weir is the man who deflected the ball in, but that puts Villareal, if they weren't in the driver's seat, they're certainly well on their way to the group stages now, unless something very strange happens here.
Well, the much-travelled Juan Pablo Sorin. He's been here less than a year. He was playing his football in Brazil, this time last year for Cruzeiro. Villareal got him for nothing.
And I know that you know, Everton are saying, okay, we still have to score 2 goals. Nothing has changed. Well, I think it has changed. I think a goal like that deflates you a little bit. I think it also helps if you're the team scoring the goal. Villareal are going to feel a little bit more buoyant now than they did when they were under the constant pressure there. And they didn't give up a goal. They played very well at the back.
It came at the end of the first 20 minutes of play, which had gone pretty much Everton's way. They'd come out and set the terms and dictated the tempo. And how they will be looking back now ruefully at Tim Cahill header, how different things might have been. Obviously still very early days here, but could prove to be a huge momentum swing in the proceedings here.
Early days get late days very, very quickly in this game, don't they? So at least 10 million Swiss francs on the line here.
That reckoned to be the financial rewards for making it into the group stages. The draw to come later this week. Only room for one of these teams in the hat. 3-1 now, Villareal lead on aggregate. And a chance to break here with Riquelme orchestrating as always. A driving run, but an excellent tackle back. Falls for Forlan on his left foot. The shot almost found Figueroa, but Riquelme continued his run. Everton at full stretch defensively.
The ball certainly falling properly for Villareal. It looked like they created something out of nothing there. It looked like the ball was going to be cleared. But you make your own luck in this game. And certainly Villareal are doing that. If you attack and you bang the ball in, you wait on the goalkeeper or somebody to make a mistake, and that's exactly what happened here. A little bit of a dunt there in the back. It looked like Bent got away with it.
Oh, really, Nigel Martin hadn't had a save to make up until that point, until Weir's deflection sent it past him. He might have more work here, though, as Figueroa tries to wriggle free, and does so, and Martin does make the save. It was Diego Forlan who tested the veteran keeper.
Good possession by Villareal, holding on to the ball, soaring, quick move. Diego Forlan with those quick feet takes the ball away, and he fires off the shot. That's good effort.
Forlan making his home European debut for Villareal. He was cup-tied last season. Now looking to get on the end of this Riquelme corner. David Weir, a captain's header away for Everton. The home team in the ascendancy with the lead. You can just see the confidence flowing through the outfit known as the Yellow Submarine at the moment. A lot of fans made the trip here from Liverpool, far from giving up the cause. But can Everton somehow dig deep and produce the 2 goals needed, at the very least? Arubarena for Villareal. Neville there first. Possession changing hands rapidly. Everton need the ball, and they need it in a hurry. Juan Pablo Sorin. This was the moment that opened the scoring. Left-footed strike, and nothing that Nigel Martin could do about it after the deflection, Tommy.
Yeah, I mean, it looks very much like an own goal, but I'm sure they're going to give it to Sorin because he was shooting at goal. I think that's the kind of the way they rule it now. If the goal was intended to be on the goalkeeper, the last man that took the shot generally gets credit. Trouble somewhere.
It was amongst the Everton support, it seems. Juan Pablo Sorin has played for Lazio, Barcelona, Paris Saint-Germain and Juventus in his long career. Whoa, a bit of miscommunication.
Oh, he's outside.
There.
They're going to say he was bumped out.
Mariano Barbosa was a little slow to come out and take charge of the situation here.
Oh, it was his own man that bumped him out. But the referee apparently had the whistle blown that the foul had already committed. That would have been high drama.
Barbosa, who signed from Banfield, is actually the current Argentinian under-20 goalkeeper. There's another Argentinian, Lucho Figueroa. And really, you have to admire what Manuel Luis Pellegrini has done here, Tommy. He's really tapped into so much South American talent, particularly younger players who perhaps haven't quite made the grade at bigger teams.
Yeah, and what's really impressive about him is the fact that he's been able to blend them into a team that I think might hold their own with anybody this year. There might be a threat. I mean, I know there's the big two in Spain. You got Barcelona and Real Madrid, and after that, it's a considerable drop-off. But I think that Villareal just might be in the mix.
Well, they have a formidable home record as we look at that little nudge against Senna. This will not be an easy place for anyone to come and play. Barcelona and Real Madrid both found that out last season. Neither of them managed a goal here. Barcelona left after a 3-0 walloping. In fact, at home, they only lost once all of last season in the league. That was to Deportivo La Coruña. And it's some measure of the task facing Everton, Tommy, that if you look at their European record last year, Villareal in the Intertoto Cup and the UEFA Cup played 9 games in a row, won all 9 of them at home, and didn't concede a goal.
Incredible record, isn't it? I mean, it's an incredible defensive record.
That run was finally halted by AZ Alkmaar in the quarterfinals last year, but they have made El Madrigal a fortress. Scored 41 times here in the league and conceded just 10. So Everton, well, they have a mountain to climb, literally. Marcus Bent. Now the ball breaking almost for Diego Forlan. Nigel Martin was quickly out. And a corner kick is the end result.
Well, which indicates that if Forlan had knocked the ball through, I don't think that it touched the keeper. I don't think that it touched the keeper at all. It shouldn't be a corner kick. I think Diego Forlan knocked the ball wide.
Nigel Martin is trying to convey that information to referee Colina, but a corner it is. And it'll be the man voted as the most artistic player in Spain last year, Riquelme, with it. Sorin comes up limping. It's his goal that separates the two teams.
Up high in the air this time, and he just gets a knock there. It looked like Weir got a touch on just on the thigh muscle.
This was the previous incident with Forlan.
Never touched it.
Beating Martin to the ball. Nigel Martin, the last time he played in Spain in a Champions League game, he was playing with Leeds United. It was in a semi-final just down the road from here. They lost to Valencia. Martin left Leeds after that and has continued rolling back the years at Goodison Park. It's never a good idea to wear pink, is it, Tommy?
No. It makes you very easy to spot anyhow.
I don't know if that's why they're escorting him out, but bad dress sense is reason enough to be thrown out of the ground.
I think he might have done a little more. I just feel he might have. This game has just kind of lulled itself off now. There's been very, very little action in it. It's one of these games that starts to just get bogged down in midfield. The longer it goes, the better it is for Villareal.
Well, it's certainly not in Villarreal's nature to sit back and defend. They have defending to do here, and we'll have some more So a corner kick goes Everton's way. And in a way, one goal scored for them doesn't really change their dynamic too much. Another one would surely kill the tie off. But an Everton equaliser will change the balance completely. Arteta setting up for a corner. David Weir forward from the back for the visitors. It's flicked away. It's kept alive until Senna hooks it away from danger acrobatically. Hibbert back into the mixer. The flick on. Finds Marcus Bent in his stride. It was an enterprising run from Bent. But Sorin was there. Or rather, Kike Alvarez, the Villareal captain. This is a better spell, though, for the visitors. Can they translate it into any end product here? Arteta. So nicely flighted delivery right into the sweet spot. And again, Villareal showing their defensive mettle. Kike Alvarez and Gonzalo Rodriguez, a excellent central defensive pairing. Arteta couldn't find a way past a flying Juan Pablo Sorin, but Everton encamped in the Villareal half. Tony Hibbert. Bent's flick. And again, Kike Alvarez yielding no ground whatsoever. And now Senna can lead the charge for the home team. Villareal, of course, have not yet opened up their La Liga campaign. That happens this Sunday. This is Riquelme. It was a very important touch away from Kilban, who was tracking back. Words between Sorin and Hibbert.
And I'm sure they weren't talking about the score being 1-0 at the moment, or...
I wonder what language they were speaking to each other as well.
Probably bad language.
The international language of football.
The language that everybody seems to know. There's never a problem understanding it.
Conversation continuing.
Sorin looks like he's in a bit of trouble here still.
Sorin has been in the thick of the action, scored the goal. Might have had another.
9 fouls called against Everton. Hibbert. But you look at the last game, Timmy Cahill put the ball on the roof of the net, on the top of it, on the outside. Could have been in, and he had one chance today. You know, would have made a huge difference. I think he's going to have a huge season this year for Everton. He's also going to be involved in World Cup qualifying with Australia.
Yeah, they'll need him to take those sort of chances. Chances he has been taking regularly in the Premiership.
Well, they should beat the Solomon Islands, but Gus Hiddink said that he's going to play a full-strength team. He's not going to take any chances because they got to get ready to play that, what is the 5th team from South America? If they qualify to meet, I mean, they should beat the Solomon Islands. It'll be a major surprise if they don't. But then again, we've seen major surprises before.
Yes, we have. Art Media, for one, getting through into the group stages. Who would have thought that? Especially
you started out against Celtic and everybody said, yeah, but it was a flash in the pan. It wasn't a flash in the pan at all. And what about Thun?
FC Thun from Switzerland. That'll be a fun place to go to.
What a song they'll be singing. Couldn't resist.
2 of the teams already in the hat for the draw. Villareal looking to book their place. Figueroa. Shot was charged down. And the home team really having things mostly their own way ever since their goal. It's Forlan. Diego Forlan producing a diving save from Nigel Martin. It was awkward for him, bounced just in front of the keeper. He was happy to turn it away for the corner.
Yeah, he was having severe problems with it. Diego Forlan put a lot of knuckle on the ball. And it might have taken a little deflection on the way in too.
Riquelme, as ever, setting up to deliver from the corner. David Weir meeting it with a full-blooded clearance. There was some thought that perhaps Villareal's lack of competitive action might be a slight hindrance to them tonight, Tommy. Everton already 2 games into their Premiership campaign. Villareal not yet kicked off, but no sign of that.
Not at all, not at all.
Everton with that morale-boosting 1-0 win away to Bolton Wanderers over the weekend. Marcus Bent, the goal scorer, is the man closest to the ball for Everton. He will chase it down, but Mariano Barbosa comfortable to Kronkamp. And now Villareal so comfortable, so adept with the ball at feet, spraying the passes around, even if they're heading in the wrong direction. And the crowd lapping it up. Sorin in the playmaker position. Already has one tonight. And now has a free kick to boot. And it's Mikel Arteta who was the guilty party.
Arteta just pushing him down. Sorin's having problems with that right leg of his. He obviously had a problem going in because he just took something cotton wool out from underneath his shin guard. And Arteta just basically bowls him over. He's not a guy you want to have mad at you.
Arteta back in his homeland. That brief spell with Real Sociedad at the start of last season. Joined Everton on loan in January, and the deal was made permanent over the summer, as was Riquelme's deal right here with Villareal. And it's Riquelme who will be the real menace from this set piece. It is Riquelme bending it, and Martin had to be alive to the danger, scrambling across. That's 2 or 3 saves now he's had to come up with.
This is a huge save. Riquelme bends it, gets it round the wall, takes a bounce in front of Martin. The last one was from Forlan, this one was from Riquelme, and Martin almost caught out, but he didn't. Stood his ground.
Having won the corner kick, he'll now take it. Again, the quality of the corners have been of the highest order tonight, as has the defending. Corners have really been reaching the sweet spot of the penalty area.
And when you look at what Nigel Martin has done, I mean, certainly Sven-Göran Eriksson has to be looking at this and saying, hey, this man can stop it, this man can get across. And these are difficult saves he's coming up with. They're not easy saves by any stretch of the imagination, but he's done very well.
Now, real danger again. Once more, Nigel Martin is equal to the task. He only won just over 20 caps in his rather short England national team career.
That was a case of Riquelme just pulling on it again.
Another corner, this time easy for Yobo to make the clearance. But Everton had everyone back defending. They cannot possibly afford to concede another, surely. Well, it was Jan Kronkamp battling away for possession for Villareal, and the decision went his way.
Oh, a little bit of pushing, a little bit of pulling. And Ferguson coming out, getting involved. We haven't seen a whole lot of him now for about 20 minutes. He had a bright start, but he's gradually slipped out of the game. I know the game is kind of bypassing because of the way the game has been played. Villareal playing very smart here. Just keeping possession of the ball, not doing anything extraordinary, coming up with a few shots here and there. Just making sure that they keep Everton off the score sheet.
Cahill. And just the wrong side of Marcus Bent, who was caught rather stationary. Simon Davis, one of the summer signings by David Moyes, arriving from Tottenham Hotspur. But you just wonder, Tommy, whether Everton can really pull this off, given their lack of an out-and-out goal scorer. Consider Tim Cahill was their top scorer last season in the Premiership with 11 from midfield.
And they're having a problem. They created one chance from, but they're having a problem getting opportunities from midfield. And when you look at what the midfield is out there, I thought Moyes would get a better game out of Arteta. I thought Arteta would be more suited to playing this. And Davis is not playing all that well. And Kilban, they're just not making their presence felt. Villareal are doing it very simple. They look very, very comfortable on the ball. Very good technically. Great technique involved here.
And embodied by Riquelme, who opts to send it back to Kike Alvarez.
But even when you look at the two strikers, how comfortable they are on the ball. I mean, Forlan and Figueroa, they're just they're very difficult to defend against, and you've seen that they've come up with a couple of good opportunities out of nothing.
Well, Kilban, who's already on a yellow card, left his foot in there. On Josico.
Well, Kilban, I'm not sure what's wrong with him today, but he's had a couple of very, very nasty tackles. We saw him with a very nasty tackle on Javi Venta. In fact, he might be the reason that Javi Venta had to go off. It took a while, but I think that he was the cause of it.
Martin with the clearance inside the last 2 minutes of the first half. Once again, an Everton attack amounts to very little as Villareal close that yellow trapdoor in the centre of the field and regain possession. Riquelme pulling the strings as always. Kromkamp has had an assured first 20 minutes or so of his Villareal career. Tony Hibbett knew Soreen was arriving in a hurry. Long ball for Bent. He's barely had a touch. Cahill kept it alive. Arteta would love to shine tonight, that's for sure. Mikel Arteta. But so far, so good for Manuel Luis Pellegrini, the 51-year-old Chilean. Riquelme, 15 goals last season.
I find it amazing that, you know, that Barcelona, who didn't make very few moves in the off-season, they couldn't find a place for a player like Riquelme.
It does promise to be a fascinating La Liga season here in Spain. Of course, you can see it all here on ESPN. Starts in earnest this Sunday. Villareal will have a trip to Osasuna to start things going. Can they reproduce their fine form from last year? Especially given the likely distraction is a place in the group stages of the Champions League, unless Everton can alter the course of this game. Just 1 minute of stoppage time added on. Just one real, genuine goal-scoring opportunity for the Toffees in this first half. That Tim Cahill header, which produced a save from Mariano Barbosa, but probably should have produced a goal. Kilban. Is there to be one more foray into the box for the visitors? Kike Alvarez header away. Kilban perhaps will set it up again if time allows. That will do it. One Pablo Soreen strike right on the 20-minute mark separates the teams at half-time here. So Everton with it all to do in the second half. Villareal leading by 1-0 on the night. That makes it 3-1 on aggregate. Riquelme and company can smell the group stages of the Champions League now. It's within touching distance, 45 minutes to go. That's what Juan Pablo Sorin is telling his teammates. There can be no room for any let-up. David Moyes will have a real talk on his hands now as he tries to rally his troops. Half-time here, Villareal 1, Everton 0. Welcome back to a atmospheric and packed El Madrigal here in Villareal. And a happy crowd so far, at least most of them. Villareal, a goal to the good here in this second leg, and 3-1 up on aggregates. Results from yesterday, and a good day for another Spanish team, Real Betis, getting through against Monaco. They had a real tough task on their hands. They won the first leg 1-0, so they went through 3-2 on aggregate after drawing 2 each in France yesterday. The other games in progress at the moment. Werder Bremen, well, they are through after overcoming the challenge of Basel. Ajax, Rangers, Manchester United also into the hat alongside Anderlecht. Inter should be safe. They lead 3-1 on aggregate against Shakhtar Donetsk of the Ukraine. Club Brugge winning 1-0 at home against Vålerenga of Norway at half-time. So the final places in the draw for the group stages of the Champions League are at stake. Villareal have 1 foot there. They're 45 minutes away. Can they close the deal? We'll be right back. Back to El Madrigal here. Villareal 1, Everton 0 at half-time. 3-1 on aggregate. Villareal within touching distance of the Champions League group stages. Don't tell her that. Him, for that matter. Everton fans will give up hope any day soon, but that's what they're trying to be a part of. Match day 1, the UEFA Champions League is soon to be upon us. Tuesday, 13th of September. It all kicks off again. Liverpool defending their trophy. Milan trying to get back to the big dance. Juventus, Real Madrid, Inter. It's going to be fascinating. See it all right here on ESPN. And you can also see SportsCenter every single night. All the news and views, results and reactions around the world of sport. Check your local listings wherever you may be watching in the world. SportsCenter right here on ESPN. Entertaining first half. We'll show you the key moments, including this strike from Juan Pablo Sorin, which gives the home side the lead by 1-0. More right after these words. El Madrigal is our venue this evening. Some happy campers here as they've seen the yellow submarine sail away with proceedings so far. 1-0 they lead after 45 minutes. This is how it happened, described by Tommy Smith.
17 minutes into this one, a good opportunity here. Tim Cahill coming in, knocks it down. The keeper does well to get down to cover it up. Cahill probably should have went a little bit wider. He would love to have it back again. This is 2 games where the Aussie had an opportunity to be the hero, and neither of them worked out too very well. And then really what happened after that was at an insult to injury. Sorin coming through, nobody closes him down. Weir turns his back to him. It bounces off Weir. There's no way that Nigel Martin can get to it. And the yellow submarine are on the scoreboard one more time. There's the shot, there's the turn, there's the attempt, and there's the ball in the back of the old onion bag as Sorin, an unlikely goal scorer, gets credit for this one. Nigel Martin was very, very unfortunate, but that's the way this game goes. 24 minutes in, Diego Forlan gets a great opportunity, works it well himself. Nigel Martin comes up with a really nice save. Nigel Martin proving that maybe Sven-Göran Eriksson should take another look at him. Watch this reaction save. Gets down to it well and knocks it away. A couple of minutes later, Forlan, Riquelme and Figueroa are causing all kinds of problems. And Nigel Martin is to the well again. Knocked it away. Riquelme with the free kick. This one bounces right in front of Nigel Martin and he knocks it away again. Nigel is doing the job, but his Everton teammates are not picking him up. He's kept them in the game. Key save after key save. Riquelme goes for the short side. Nigel Martin said, Not tonight, Josephina knocked it away.
So Everton, after enjoying the lion's share of possession through the first 20 minutes, ended up being wildly outshot by the home side in the first half. 7-1, the final count, 1-0 the score, and it could possibly have been worse had it not been for Nigel Martín's performance in the latter stages of that first half. Everton out-fouling Villareal, some indication of their rather more physical approach to things. The only yellow card so far being shown to Kevin Kilban. It's more exciting than that, come on. There's a Champions League group stage's place at stake, and we'll find out who will claim it next. Well, hearts on sleeves time, or rather legs in Everton's case. They trail by a 0-0. Villareal and Everton looking to book the spot in the Champions League group stages for the first time ever in both teams' cases. And you have to say, Tommy, it's going to be a mighty tall order for the Toffees at this stage.
Yeah, it certainly is. I mean, they have a lot to do at this stage. I mean, it's basically what they have to do now is what they had to do at the beginning. They got to get 2 goals. The problem for them is that they got 45 minutes less to do it. So it's really up against the wall time.
Yep, the formula is simple for them. 45 minutes, they need to score twice, not concede, and that would earn them extra time here at El Madrigal as Luigi Collina starts the proceedings once more. Villareal saw the other team in the qualifying stages from Spain, Real Betis, progress yesterday, and they were up against tough opposition as well in Monaco.
And of course, Everton saw the other team from Liverpool progress as well, because Liverpool continue in that dream. I mean, everybody was questioning would they be in the Champions League. They've played now through 3 stages of it, and they've qualified for the big dance again. Fair dues to them.
Even though Villareal do not have any Champions League experience, plenty of European experience here at El Madrigal. A semi-final and a quarter-final over the last 2 years in the UEFA Cup, 2 Intertoto Cup wins. Wasn't such a good day in the Intertoto Cup yesterday for Spanish teams. Valencia and Deportivo both crashing out, which means no European football for either of those sides for the first time in quite a few years. The loser here will have the consolation of a UEFA Cup spot. This is Kilban. Can he impose himself more on the proceedings in this second half? He's been forced into a more defensive role than more accustomed to seeing him perform. Alessandro Pistoni, the normal left back for Everton, was rendered unfit after Saturday's game.
It's amazing how many times you see Kilban do that, just drop the ball in behind the defender and hope that he can run around them. And it's amazing how many times he gets caught on it. And well, he's had a few very dangerous tackles today, the Irishman. I'm a little bit surprised that Collina hasn't taken a much dimmer view, because that's nasty.
He's already on a yellow card, remember, and I think that's perhaps the only thing that saved Kevin Kilban there. Collina perhaps being, or showing some mercy, because we have seen second yellows awarded for that sort of challenge on many occasions. Right at the start of the second half. Villareal sitting comfortably. It's going to be fascinating to see how they approach this second half. I think it's fair to say I can't remember ever seeing them bunkering down and protecting a lead, although they do have a fabulous defensive record, Tommy.
Yeah, and you just wonder how long more Moyes is going to look at Bent out there. I mean, Bent and Ferguson have done very, very little.
It was Forlan in his stride, trying to find Figueroa. Not a lot of options on the bench for David Moyes in terms of the attack. James Beattie ruled out with that injured toe.
Here's the run through, and the defender just left in the wake there. Yobo having a tough time catching up to him, but nothing came of it.
This is Marcus Bent. It's a good effort from Bent on the turn. Really his first shot in anger tonight. It was off the mark, but that will boost his confidence just a little.
It's saying a lot, but when your striker gets his first shot 3 minutes into the second half, 4 minutes into the second half, you would be expecting a little bit more of him. And I would say that Duncan Ferguson has not had a shot at all. So one shot between two strikers for 49 minutes.
Well, David Moyes rather cheekily, well, that was the way it was viewed in some quarters, expressed an interest in Michael Owen. Owen, of course, was an Everton fan as a boy. I think Liverpool fans would have been thinking that was a case of taking the Michael if he had gone to Goodison.
You've been very careful with your words, aren't you?
Looks like Newcastle might be perhaps Mr. Owen's destination. We shall see.
Well, I think if he's looking at Newcastle playing today, they're, what are they, 2-0 behind Bolton, he might have second thoughts about it.
Well, he might have a new manager to go and play for pretty soon as well.
Nice move here. There was a little bit of a foul down on the bottom of your picture there that Carlino didn't see.
This is Ferguson. Turned into traffic, though. Once again, all too easily dispossessed. It's rolled into the path of Diego Forlan here. This could ice things. It's Forlan. Well, the first shot was blocked and he couldn't latch onto the rebound and appears to be a little hurt as well.
That was a good save by Nigel Martin. He stood his ground well, although Forlan helped him out by banging the ball right into his face.
Now can Everton take advantage at the other end? Oh, what an opportunity. Duncan Ferguson had the goal at his mercy and couldn't make a proper connection with the header.
Oh, he doesn't want to look around at his manager. This was beautiful. This was perfectly set up. Duncan Ferguson, this one should have been in the back of the net. Look at how wide he hit it. I mean, I'm not sure why he hit it so wide. Here's Forlan coming in, and how often you see those things change. The shot goes in, he misses the rebound, and all of a sudden Everton come up with a chance. But that's the difference in the game, isn't it? In the first half, Cahill had the opportunity, didn't put it away. Villareal went down the opposite end of the field and did put it away. Same thing happened here in reverse, but Everton weren't fit to put it away. Duncan Ferguson, that should have been a goal.
He's made a career of those sort of goals. Headers at the far post. Astonishing not to see him at least hit the target. Will they pay dearly? This is Senna for Villareal. Shot was charged down by David Weir. Sorin keeping the momentum with Villareal. Riquelme, long shot. Martin parrying it straight up into the air, and Figueroa is beaten to the rebound by the goalkeeper.
What a day for Nigel Martin. Mr. Oldtimer here is showing that he can play with the best of them. That was a ripping shot from Riquelme. He just unleashed it. A lot of bend on it. Martin did so well.
Riquelme's corner to the near post. The flick on arrived, but Yobo cleared it only as far as Senna. Deflection, and Martin down low. Another amazing save. He is single-handedly keeping Everton in this game at the moment.
Well, that's his reputation, isn't it? When he's on his game, he's just unbeatable. Tonight, he's been unbeatable. Watch this. I mean, this is absolutely incredible. Terrible clearance here. The ball comes out to Senna. It bounces around like a pinball machine, and Nigel Martin has to get down and put that left hand onto it. Absolutely incredible save. Single-handedly, he's keeping Everton in this one. Kalina would like a ball.
Sven-Göran Eriksson, are you watching? Is probably the cry from the Everton fans looking at this. May not be enough to get his team into the group stages, but could it be enough to earn a recall to the national team? Still the danger is there, though. Decision going Everton's way. Well, Villareal must surely feel they could and should have put this game out of reach by this stage. Manuel Luis Pellegrini looking on.
I'm sure they're saying, what do we have to do to beat this man tonight? Only for the deflection, he never would have been beaten the way things have gone.
Well, it was thought when he moved from Goodison Park, or to Goodison Park from Elland Road, Leeds United, that he might have to be content with a backup role as Everton goalkeeper. Richard Wright is a highly regarded goalkeeper, but Martin is certainly earning his spurs tonight. Still, though, Villareal passing the ball about very fluidly, looking so comfortable in possession. Soreen. Figueroa again has time and space, and this time just wide of the mark. Surely Everton cannot allow a player with the quality of Riquelme that sort of time to shape and shoot.
He had all the time in the world. Soreen turns it inside. Look at, I mean, he pumps at it twice before he hits it, and then he just missed that top corner. Riquelme, special talent, very special talent. Watch for this man of the World Cup.
They have been strangely reluctant, the Everton back four, to close down any Villareal attacking presence running at them. That was the case for Soreen's goal in the first half, and we've already seen Riquelme almost make them pay twice in the second. This is Figueroa. Forlan was arriving late. Joseph Yobo, Nigerian defender, with the clearance for Everton, and perhaps a counter-attacking opportunity presents itself until Arteta runs into a little trouble. Simon Davis. No way through for the Welsh wizard on the wing. Ten minutes into the second half. Score as it was at half-time. Senna showed too much of the ball. Hibbert inside to Neville. Ferguson's layoff. This to Arteta. This is Davis. Up against Arubarena, who's had a fairly quiet night so far. Hasn't had to do too much. Well, there was some claims for handball from the Everton fans who are away to our left behind Mariano Barbosa's goal.
Oh, let's see if there were legitimate claims. No, I think they hit the. I think it hit under his leg. I don't think it hit his hand at all.
Certainly the foot was up from Juan Pablo Soreen. A long throw, which Neville will take. Ferguson. Again, adjudged to have pushed off. It's the sort of move he perhaps will get away with week in, week out in the Premiership, but not here. Not with Pierluigi Collina, the man in the middle. And the first change of the night for David Moyes. Disappointing outing, it has to be said, for Kevin Kilbane, who's probably flirting with a red card as well. So he's replaced by Leon Osman.
Yeah, the Irishman couldn't get going at all tonight. He was very well contained. Osman, of course, one of those young players who's come through the Everton ranks. They're very proud of him.
Yeah, he was a joint second top scorer last season with 6 goals in the Premiership. Behind Tim Cahill in that department. Leon Osman is 24 years old now.
Well, he spent a year out of football, Adrian, because he had a very serious knee injury, and then he went away and he went to Carlisle and Derby County, and he's fought his way back onto this team. So you've got to give a player like that a lot of credit.
Still the Villareal crowd awaiting confirmation of their side's progress. They won't be taking anything for granted yet. Still well over half an hour to play here, but can Riquelme and company conjure up a vital second strike here? Riquelme's free kick, Soreen's flick. And I think there was a hand used by Diego Forlan in controlling the ball. Forlan, as I mentioned, was cup-tied last season. After joining Villareal, he had already played.
He's offside.
He'd already played in this Champions League qualifying stages for Manchester United this time last year. Cahill in towards Ferguson.
Sorin does a nice job of coming back, mopping up. He does such hard work.
And Riquelme, delightful interchange. It's a heavy touch from Forlan, but keeps the attack going. A real menace here for Villareal. And Everton an absolute full stretch to deny Arubarena, as he was right on the doorstep.
Full-back came up, got himself very quickly into the attack. Couple of lovely touches here. You see him on the overlap, stays on side, tries to slip the ball across because he has Figueroa in the middle. Riquelme with a beautiful move, one of the many we've seen him with today.
At times, Villareal carving open his Everton defence. It was like a knife through butter. And they have a corner kick. Just the super vision, super movement off the ball.
Great understanding, great running by everybody involved. Good defending, actually, to get it away.
More defending to do. Riquelme. Oh, Nigel Martin had to hold on, and he did. Tough one for any goalkeeper to deal with.
He's had a lot of tough ones today, believe me. He's earned his corn.
He tried to launch a quick counter-attack to Marcus Bent, but was just a little off the mark with his kick.
Well, you keep seeing the clock tick down, and Nigel Martin in traffic.
You just wonder where else David Moyes can turn to. As you mentioned, the young Scot, James McFadden. He also has the even younger English player, James Vaughan, on the bench. He's only 17. He was a player who became the youngest ever scorer in the Premiership last April. And that is really it in terms of attacking options. And once again, Duncan Ferguson is fallen foul of Luigi Collina's whistle.
Collina just doesn't like the way Duncan Ferguson plays football. Up using the elbow a little bit. I don't think I saw too much wrong with that. It looks like he's definitely on Collina's radar all day.
Well, what a remarkable success story it's been here at El Madrigal. Villareal, really a tiny city of just 40,000 in an area that's absolutely dominated by Valencia. They've only actually spent 6 seasons in the Spanish top flight. They only actually came up to the Spanish second division for the first time back in the 92-93 season. So it's been very quick progress to the upper echelons of Spanish football, and perhaps now European football too.
I'm just wonder why he hasn't gone for McFadden. You would imagine the team could certainly do a little bit of a shake-up here.
Well, the situation hasn't changed from the start of the game. Everton need 2 goals. What has changed is that they now have less than half an hour to get those goals in.
And to be honest, if you look at the way the game has gone, they could be here for another hour. And they don't look like they will score.
They have the ball in the right area of the field now. Dumped in towards Ferguson, wins the header. Tim Cahill making a nuisance of himself, but just simply hustled out of it by Kike Alvarez. And now, real danger again. This is where Villareal excel. Breaking at speed, ball at feet. And Riquelme just toying with David Weir for a few moments there. Weir was lured into the foul.
He's a wizard with the ball at his feet. He holds on to it, even though there was being pulls there, he was being knocked around. Weir was doing everything he could to knock Riquelme off his game. Just wasn't happening. Here's the ball into the middle, so easily cut out.
I mentioned he was voted the most artistic player in Spain last year by the newspaper Marca, and that was ahead of a certain Mr. Ronaldinho as well. It is Riquelme. Well, that wasn't that far over the top. Nigel Martin perhaps was confident it was going to clear the crossbar.
He was stuck to the ground, wasn't he?
He'll claim, I'm sure, that he had it covered all the way. But look at that. It really did not clear the crossbar by much.
Now, he hadn't it covered. He may have thought he had it covered, but if this thing dips down about 2 inches, Riquelme is on the score sheet.
The shots ratcheting up now in favour of Villareal. 14-2 the count overall, but still only one of them has counted, and that was a heavily deflected shot at that. It's been a superhuman effort at times from Nigel Martin to even keep the men from Goodison Park in the contest, but they are still in it. 25 minutes to go. And a missed kick from Senna. Philip Neville. This is Cahill. Searching out his options, decides to play it back to Neville. It's a good cross from Neville towards Ferguson, who actually got the benefit of the doubt this time from Pierluigi Collina. His header, though, easily cleared. Now Riquelme, it's 3 against 5. And the 5 just coming up trumps for Everton.
Well, you can see how this crowd are into the game and how this crowd understand the game. They thought that ball was going to go through there. They thought it was going to be a great opportunity. It was so well set up. Lovely ball movement by Villareal.
Well, really, the match is ideally suited for the Yellow Submarine here, isn't it? Everton are going to have to commit forward in numbers. There's going to be even more space opening up. Not much space down on the near side, though, as Figueroa and Weir get into a shoving match.
Well, this is a rare old tussle here, and Figueroa just holding his ground. Weir's all over him. Looks a little bit like a wrestling match at times, and Weir just give him a little bit of a push. Figueroa looked like he came back at him a little bit too.
It's amazing to consider, Tommy, that Figueroa didn't quite make the grade at St Andrews. Spent a year on loan with Birmingham City and only made 1 appearance. Both Forlan and Figueroa had their uncomfortable times in England. They're both looking more than comfortable against English opposition here.
Well, this time Everton get the foul. One more and they'll have committed 20 themselves.
Villareal just concede so infrequently here at El Madrigal. Another English team, Middlesbrough, know all about that. They came here last season in the UEFA Cup and lost 2-0. No way round the back for Tony Hibbert, and no decision either. Halfway through the second half. Any hope here for Everton, Tommy?
Not the way they're playing, not the way they're playing. They're very predictable. They're not getting the ball to Ferguson and Bent.
That was a shot of Arrigo Sacchi in the middle of your picture. Part of the Real Madrid brain trust now. Watching a team he probably considers one of his main rivals now, who are under threat from Marcus Bent. Rolled it back for Neville. Neville goes down. And that will be a free kick, I believe. Or will it?
Colina said he wouldn't give the card, he'd just give the foul just outside of the box. Philip Neville bent, looked like he had the chance to give it a smack, he didn't.
Yeah, you wonder why Marcus Bent wasn't more direct in his approach there. Took it away from goal.
It's now or never for Everton. You talked about, you know, a lot of time being left. Not anymore. As I said.
Well, in front of the massed ranks of Everton fans, can Mikel Arteta be the man to bring his side back into contention here? It's Arteta, and he's done it! The Spanish player strikes on Spanish soil to breathe new hope into an English cause. Everton have themselves an equaliser. It looked like it was never going to come for them, but now 1-1 on the night, 3-2 down on aggregate.
I kept saying that if anybody could inspire Everton, it should be Arteta. He understands exactly what he has to do here. This is an absolutely brilliant strike on the ball. He takes 1-2 steps to it and he bulges the old onion bag, and what a tremendous goal. 20 minutes left now. It's a whole different ball game.
Villareal could have put this game well out of reach.
But for Nigel Martyn, they would have. The heroics of Nigel Martyn have given the Everton fans something to cheer about now.
So all of a sudden, a different complexion to this game now. Villareal still obviously in the driving seat, but Everton, one more goal could buy themselves at least some extra time here, and David Moyes barking out some instructions to Leon Osman.
Senna gets taken out of it here. I mean, is he going to go 90 minutes with Duncan Ferguson?
Well, Bent was involved in the build-up to the goal. It was Neville that won the free kick, and now Everton are snapping at Villareal's heels. Some sense of belief has been restored. But still, they cannot afford to concede another. Were they to do so, they'd have to score 2 more themselves.
This is an unbelievable sequence of play by Villareal. They've just taken control of the ball.
In the end, the shot was closed down. The rebound pops out to Diego Forlan, though. His cross took a deflection, and there's a scramble at the far post, and good defensive work to deny Juan Pablo Sorin an opportunity.
Forlan snapping onto the end of it. His shot takes a deflection on the way in.
Villareal crowd responding here, trying to raise their side. Really looked no danger of an Everton goal for long stretches of the second half. Now Riquelme, who has chipped that into Senna, who has time to bring it down and hit it. It's Senna. It's wide.
Lax defending once again allowed Senna to be wide open, and you can see it's something that they've worked on the training field, because he knew exactly where to hit it to him, and Senna wide open for a moment.
That's what you call an obstructed view, I think, Tommy.
Very obstructed.
Not quite sure who was responsible for that, but it suggests Everton players are warming up. Ferguson warming to the task now. All of a sudden, what a difference a goal makes. The Everton fans have found their voice for almost the first time tonight. It's Villareal who are back on their heels, trying to dispossess the men in blue. This is Bent. Ball breaks for Cahill here. He has time to measure his cross. Deflected off of Sorin, and it's still alive. Came off the top of the bar. And Villareal escape.
Oh, it looked like Everton were handed a lifeline there when that ball came off the top of the crossbar. Duncan Ferguson just unable to get to it. I mean, talk about a funny old game, Adrian. I mean, this is a game that Villareal owned, and Everton now have them fighting for every scrap. I mean, if you add on the time here, there's more than 15 minutes left. Watch this as Riquelme gets taken out of it. Everton really banging in. Watch the ball coming across now. It comes off the crossbar, and look at that, on the back post. Just wasn't reaction time from Everton. Villareal react to it.
It was Mariano Barbosa perhaps deceived by that little deflection. Just tried to touch it over the bar. Could have ended up going anywhere. From an Everton perspective, the goal arriving at perhaps just the right time. Now, what will be the Villareal mindset? I mentioned it's not really in their blood to sit back and defend.
It's definitely the right time if they could get another one.
It's never a bad time to score, let's face it. And that's just what Marcus Bent is attempting to do. It's Gonzalo Rodriguez with the header away. Just a few nervy touches now creeping into the Yellow Submarine. Not then. That's an excellent ball into the path of Figueroa. Well read, though, by David Weir. Quarter of an hour to go. The final place in the group stages of the Champions League at stake here. Will it be the team that finished third in La Liga? Or could, against all the odds, it be the team that finished fourth in the Premiership? We join all the big boys, and some of the little boys for that matter as well, in the hat.
Well, there'd be 5 English teams in, wouldn't it, if Everton could qualify here?
And Manchester United completing the job against Debrecen of Hungary earlier on this evening. Rangers will be Scotland's sole representative.
You're going to see why here. Just a lunge into the back. Philip Neville is the guilty man. Look at, kicked Figueroa.
There's not even an attempt to disguise that by Neville, was there? Figueroa will play on. Long ball, Sorin chesting it down. Was he shoved down in the process of doing it? Some of the crowd seem to think so.
I think he was lunging for the ball himself. It'd be very difficult to give a penalty in this situation. He's already played the ball when he's knocked down.
But now it's the home side who are not in any particular hurry to get the restart taken. Sorin's throw amounts to nothing, and Everton are penalised. Marcus Bent can barely believe it.
Yeah, I must say I agree with him. It looked like he was being pulled as well. Every free kick now becomes so valuable for Villareal, Adrian.
Kike Alvarez has been a pillar of strength as always at the back. The Villareal captain. Man who came through the Barcelona youth system at a time when Johan Cruyff was in charge. This is Kromkamp, an early first half substitute for Villareal. Good ball into Sorin. His delivery across the top of the box. It was begging for someone to come in and make a connection. Nobody in a yellow shirt was there, though. Another enterprising build-up, though, by Villareal.
Senna's played very well for them. That's the view the keeper had. Not much of a view, was it?
And that's a different view. This is Riquelme. Sorin. It's just wide. Nigel Martyn. Well, it's one of the few shots he didn't get a hand on tonight. Didn't need to in the end.
Speechless, is that the word?
Seeing double, I think, is the word. Simon Davis making way for James McFadden.
I'm amazed that he waited this long for McFadden.
Well, McFadden, the 22-year-old Scot, doesn't have long to leave his mark here, but it's 3 forwards now for David Moyes. First touch of the ball from McFadden, ran into heavy traffic, and then a no-nonsense challenge from Hibbert leaves Soreen still on the ground. Everton not hanging around, though. Hibbert, a chance to deliver. Sends it to the far post. Ferguson is there! And Mariano Barbosa is forced into an excellent save. Duncan Ferguson can barely believe it.
Well, maybe that's why Moyes has left him on. Maybe he thought there might come one good chance from Ferguson. Lines this one up. Absolutely incredible save by the keeper. Great header by Ferguson. A lot of power on it. Great finish here by Everton.
Well, somehow Everton have dug deep and held on here. And as we approach the final 10 minutes, threatening to level things on aggregate. In comes the corner. They have levelled. Would you believe it? But it's been waved off. It's been waved off. Duncan Ferguson thought he'd equalised. I thought he'd equalised. But Pierluigi Collina says no.
Oh, how cruel of fate. How cruel of fate. What do Everton have to do to win? They're asking themselves. Let's see where the infraction occurs here. Forget about it. There was no foul. Forget about it. It's a bunch of players going for the ball. How can you call a foul in that situation? That, to me, is a goal. I'm surprised at Collina.
I'm wondering if the foul was actually given against Marcus Bent. There wasn't much contact, that's for sure. But
yeah, but if you're going to call a foul like that on a corner kick, Adrian, you can call them every day of the week, every corner kick. Group of players rise for a ball, and Marcus Bent. Here's the situation inside. There's a lot of grabbing. There's a lot of clutching. How can you call a foul on that? You can't call a foul in there.
Certainly rough justice, it appears, especially seeing that last replay. Pierluigi Collina indicated it was not Duncan Ferguson that he'd called the foul on. He was pointing in the direction of Bent. Can only assume that's what the Italian officials saw, but what we saw didn't amount to much.
Now, there was a player on the ground, all right, and I mean, obviously Collina felt, or otherwise he wouldn't have called the foul, but I think it was very, very rough justice.
Right in front of the Everton fans as well. So there's going to be a change now. And it's of a defensive nature for Villareal, which shows you how the momentum of the game has switched. Eliseo Takinadi, what a useful player he is to have up your sleeve in this sort of situation. He replaces Lucho Figueroa.
Oh, he's got a lot of steel and he's got a lot of experience. He's been there, done this, and the ideal man to bring in here, offer some leadership. And Villareal are reeling. They are really reeling. Everton have them under the cosh, pardon the pun.
And still, they are forcing Villareal to defend in mass numbers, which they do admirably in the shape of Kike Alvarez. But they can't turn defence into attack, and once again, Everton have a chance to move forward. There looked to be no possible way that this scenario would develop at the start of the second half, when shots were literally raining in on Nigel Martyn. It looked to be a case of not if, but when Villareal would get their second. It didn't come. And really, out of nothing, Everton fashioned themselves an equaliser on the night. And a superb free kick from Arteta. And now it's fingernail biting time for the locals here at El Madrigal. Everton's first action in this competition for some 34 years. Can they stay in it? Riquelme. Hibbert not letting the Argentinian playmaker go anywhere, though.
Well, just sticking in doggedly, but you know, you don't want to foul at this stage. Let's see where. There's Marcus bent inside now. Let's see the two players involved in this.
There's no foul, is there?
There's not a foul there. What, are you kidding me or something?
It was Kike Alvarez, the captain, who was the man that clashed with Bent, but certainly by Premiership standards.
Oh, I think by fair play standards, I don't think there was any foul. I think Everton were robbed.
As you mentioned, Tommy, at a corner kick, you're always going to get bodies colliding, pulling and tugging. Normally, referees let it go. You wonder if he would have called the foul had Ferguson not scored. Well, that pretty much sums up how most of the local patrons are feeling here, Tommy. It's head in hands time.
Picture tells 1,000 words, doesn't it?
Everton fighting to the last here for the goal that would at least keep them alive and send this tie into extra time. They have themselves a corner.
Takenardi doing what he's in there to do. Just get a touch on the ball, make sure that Everton don't get a clear-cut opportunity.
So David Weir will lend his considerable height to the attack here. Mikel Arteta, he's scored one. Can he set one up now? Corner goes near post. He'll have another chance to deliver. Arteta, a decent one. Barbosa had to make it, and he did. But everyone back behind the ball now for Villareal. It's a tough ball for Yobo to control.
He does enough to win himself the throw, but
one of those situations now where time goes way too quick if you're an Everton fan. The flick on. But behind James McFadden. Barbosa quick to spot the opportunity to release Forlan. Just too much on his clearance, though. Forlan would have been in the clear.
oh, he was off to the races with nobody to beat only the keeper, and the keeper was coming out. He had realised what was happening. He was a long way out, Nigel Martin.
Time going much too quickly for Everton fans, much too slowly for Villareal fans in this situation. Hibbert. Cross took a deflection, another corner. It's been a whole series of them since the Everton equaliser.
Well, the Everton fans getting value for their money now. They weren't at the races for a long time, but they're putting the pressure on now. And Bent is asking Kalina, hey, you going to call it on me again? If I was Villareal, I'd be very, very watchful here. Kalina might try to make it up.
Arteta unhappy with the placement of the ball.
Oh, he's got to hit the ball. I mean, he can't be at this carry on. Look at all the length of time that's been wasted.
Referee wanted the whole ball in that quadrant. In it comes from Arteta. The header was down but away from goal. Kept alive by McFadden. No way round Juan Pablo Sorin, and then McFadden left his foot in. He will be lucky to escape a caution here. Or rather, it was Osman. Leon Osman.
Just foolish play by the Everton player at this stage of the game. You get yourself a card. You give your opponents a free kick. You give them a chance to reorganise, get time off the clock. I mean, there's a foul there. I mean, if you're going to call the foul that he called on Marcus Bent, that's a foul on Takenardi, isn't he? I mean, if you're going to be, if you're going to be fair about this, that should have been a foul too.
Good point, Tommy. Not always a level playing field, is it, between defenders and attackers? Corner kicks and goalkeepers seem to get a special type of protection as well. Villareal back on their heels. Everton prodding and probing at the moment. And the ball eventually trickles over the line via the corner flag for a corner kick. Let's see if Arteta can get this one taken a little quicker. They're not enjoying it, are they, up there amongst the dignitaries? Final minute. 1-1, 3-2 on aggregates.
Not a good one by Arteta. Well cleared. Senna read where the ball was going to be and just stepped into it.
Everton just a little quicker and a little hungrier for the ball at the moment. Villareal mentally shell-shocked to be in this position. Look, to be plain sailing for them midway through the second half. Phil Neville couldn't pick his way through. Soreen still has Villareal's only goal of the night. It's protecting his goal he's more concerned with at the moment. Another long throw from Neville. Oh, Ferguson's flick on. Real danger in the box, a complete melee for the ball, and it breaks clear. It's more like rugby in there, and somehow it ends up in the hands of Mariano Barbosa. I think that was a good old-fashioned scrum down, Tommy.
That was unbelievable, unbelievable stuff. The ball bounced around, and I'm surprised that Kalina didn't blow a whistle for something. There were that many players on the ground. How can you not have had a foul when you consider what he blew just a little while ago? There had to be a foul there someplace. Somebody had to push somebody. I mean, it was just thrills, spills, excitement and adventure on the ball. Watch this as the ball comes through. Okay, there's one man down. Is he laying on the ball? He clears the ball away. There's another man down. I mean, this is just unbelievable, and it ends up with Bent had the opportunity to put the ball in the net, but the keeper comes up with a really nice save and an important one.
Well, they may play the beautiful game here at Villareal, but that was an example of some ugly defending. They've got more defending to do here as well, but this time clear it with rather more ease. Riquelme, Everton in a hurry to try and dispossess him, but look at this run. Soreen. We're across to meet him. Forlan can finish it, and he does! Diego Forlan with the final nail in brave Everton's coffin. They'd been hanging on grimly for dear life. There was always the danger that they were going to spring a counter-attack. And they did so with the utmost deadliness here, Tommy.
Soreen way out on the far side, parts with the ball first time, and Forlan makes no mistake. A beautiful goal. Everton pushing everybody forward, as you might imagine. I still feel that it should have been 2-2. There should have been a different situation, but that's the way it is. Forlan scores the goal, and Villareal are going to go through to the next phase of the Champions League. But I think Kalina has a few questions to answer.
So the man who was the top scorer in La Liga last season scores his first ever goal in the Champions League for Villareal. And it's the goal, surely, that finally decides this encounter. Now 4-2 on aggregate to the Spanish side. But how they had to work for it.
That last sequence in the box was unbelievable, the way the ball bounced around, and Everton were just unfortunate. Bent got the ball at his boot, but Barbosa read where it was going to be.
So Villareal can start dreaming of the likes of Juventus, AC Milan, and Manchester United, Chelsea, Arsenal. All the big teams that they'll be in the hat with. Villareal make it in to the group stages of the Champions League. Diego Forlan with the final nail in Everton's coffin. It was a brave show from the Goodison Park boys. who came mighty close to causing an upset here, and controversy as well with Pierluigi Collina disallowing what looked to be Duncan Ferguson's equalising goal on aggregate. But in the final analysis, Villareal just having enough over the two legs to put Everton out of the competition. Goals from Soreen and Forlan interspersed with that free kick from Arteta. All the scoring tonight, Tommy.
The way Villareal played, they probably deserved to go through, but as you said, a lot of controversy here. Soreen got that first goal, the one that was deflected in, and the keeper made a incredible saves. Nigel Martin was just unbelievable, but in the end there was no stopping Forlan as Soreen sprang down that left wing and cruelly exposed at the back. And Forlan doesn't miss ones like that, at least playing in Spain. He used to miss them when he was playing in England, but he doesn't miss them playing in Spain like that.
So the man who couldn't leave his mark on Manchester United has left his mark on the Champions League. Everton are out. Villareal are through to the group stages. We'll be back to wrap things up after these words. So the 32nd and final place in the group stages of the Champions League will go to Villareal. Everton will have to be content with UEFA Cup football this season after the 2-1 win here, 4-2 on aggregate for the team known as the Yellow Submarine. But Everton made them fight for it all the way, Tommy. There looked to be no way that was going to be the case early on in the second half as Villareal came out and dominated proceedings and had several chances to put the game out of Everton's reach.
Oh yeah, they had. Only for Nigel Martin coming up with such a huge game, Everton wouldn't be in the game at all. But having said that, I think Collina makes a mistake. Let's see, we'll get around to it. 17 minutes into this one, the ball dropped inside, and look at that, Timmy Cahill with the header down. Cahill's header was away from the keeper but not far enough to beat him, and that was a great opportunity for Everton to pull one back at that stage. They didn't do that. 20 minutes in, Soreen comes forward, Weir gets in the way, and Nigel Martin has no way of stopping that one. He reached for it, but it was just a wicked deflection, and the Yellow Submarine have a chance to celebrate. Look at Martin in desperation, put his boot out to it, but it did take that wicked deflection on the way in, and just couldn't get to it. He was very unlucky. 24 minutes into this one, Diego Forlan comes up with a shot. Nigel Martin is there. It now becomes the Nigel Martin show, folks. Basically, that's what I'm going to tell you at this stage, because Forlan forces the good save on him here, cuts in on that outside, takes the shot. Nigel Martin is there to knock it away. More of the same coming up. Constant pressure here. The Yellow Submarine. Here's the shot, knocked away. Nice save by Nigel Martin. Diego Forlan was the man once again. 39 minutes in, Riquelme, free kick just outside of the box. Guess what, if you didn't see it before, Nigel Martin knocks it away again. That's 3 in a row, really good ones. He's keeping Everton in the game. 40 minutes into this one, guess who? Riquelme. Who does he try to beat? Martin knocks it away one more time. Martin is really on his game at this stage, and he needed to be, because there was going to be more of the same in the second half. They just kept coming in waves. Here's the shot from Forlan, knocked down. Forlan misses it. 52 minutes into this one, Soreen cross into the middle. Riquelme, wicked shot, but Martin is there, and Martin denies him one more time. 53 minutes into this one, once again the header not cleared very well. It bounces around Nigel Martin with an impossible stop as he got down to it and put his left hand onto it. 55 minutes in, Soreen pulling the tricks in midfield, inside Riquelme. Here's the shot up into the corner. No, just over the top. Nigel Martin didn't have to come up with the save this time, but Riquelme with a beautiful shot. 70 minutes in, Arteta! Beautiful goal from the free kick just outside of the box. Bent coming across, passed the ball to Neville. Neville was fouled. And it's heaven for the Everton fans as Arteta puts this one out of the keeper's reach. We talked about Nigel Martin having a big game. I'll tell you, the keeper for Villareal had a big one too. Babarusek had to come up with a couple of big saves. Here's this ball, comes wickedly close to getting into the net. Just comes off the crossbar. Then the ball flicked out on the outside. Duncan Ferguson, beautiful save one more time. Duncan Ferguson with a powerful header. 81 minutes. Here's the controversial one. This one's in the back of the net. But Collina saw a foul. Collina said that there's a foul on Marcus Bent, but hey, we got an opportunity to have a look at this one a little bit in isolation later on. And, well, I don't think there was a foul. I think it was a perfectly good goal, but what I think doesn't count in this game, Soreen gives it across. Diego Forlan, he said, I don't care what Tommy Smith thinks, I'm going to finish this one off. And Villareal are going to the Champions League. Soreen with the ball into space. Forlan with a magnificent finish. And that was all she wrote, folks. Basically, that was the script.
So really a tale of two keepers at many stages. Villareal outshooting Everton by a huge margin, 14-6. But they only got past Nigel Martin twice. Look at the fouls, shows you the different approach to the game from the two teams. Everton at 26, Villareal just the 7 fouls. So that wraps up qualifying. The results from yesterday saw places for Betis, Panathinaikos, Udinese, Thun, Art Media, Rosenborg, amongst others. And then the results from today, Club Brugge scraping through against Vålerenga and Electa in the hat. So 2 Belgian teams through. Manchester United, 2 3-0 wins, sees them through. Rangers through. Ajax, Werder Bremen, and Inter Milan 1-1 on the night, but 3-1 on aggregate. So these will be the teams making up the group stage, Tommy. It's going to be a very interesting draw, isn't it? Yeah, it certainly is. As you said earlier, a few of the smaller teams in there, but basically a lot of the big boys are back again. Barcelona, Real Madrid, Chelsea looking to prove that they can play well in Europe. Arsenal looking to do the same. And it all starts in just a couple of weeks' time. Tuesday, the 13th of September. 3 weeks, really. Match day 1 on the UEFA Champions League. You can see every match day right here on ESPN. As always, check your local listings as we start the road to Paris and the final next May. Villareal taken the first step there tonight. A 2-1 win here, following up from their 2-1 win at Goodison Park, sees them through by a 4-2 aggregate overall, and they enter the draw for the group stages. Hope you've enjoyed our coverage on ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more information, you can log on to espnsoccernet.com or espndeportes.com. For Tommy Smith and all our crew here in Spain, I'm Adrian Healy saying thanks very much for watching. Good night and goodbye.